Thank you for joining in. A very good morning and good afternoon to everyone. We still have people joining in, so we're going to wait for some time and then we will start the session. Before that, we also running some single store social contests. So if you want to take part, you can just scan this QR code and log into your LinkedIn, and the post will share automatically. At the end of the session, people with highest reach will get some Amazon vouchers. So you can scan this QR code and join in. We're still waiting for people to join in. So yeah. Again, guys, thank you for joining in. We're going to start the session in a couple of minutes. Okay, let's move to the housekeeping rules. Kedar, can you move the slides? Yeah, perfect. So thank you again, guys, for joining in. This session will be recorded. If you have any questions during the session, you can use the Q&A tab and our expert will help you to answer those. If you want to do any interaction, you can use the chat feature in Zoom. You will be muted throughout the session, so for any interaction, feel free to use the chat for comments and Q&A tab for questions. And stay till the end. There may be there there is a special announcement at the end. People with the highest reach on the social contest post will get the Amazon voucher. Here's our next slide, please. Yeah, so we have a great session lined up for you today. We're going to talk about real-time finance with SingleStore, and the expert that joining us today is Kedar Deshpande, who's a senior solution architect. So yeah, Kedar, over to you.
Thanks, Mayank, and welcome everyone. I'm Kedar from SingleStore, and I'm excited to share how real-time capabilities are currently shaping the future of finance. So, not just for decision making, but across the entire spectrum of digital financial experiences. From instant fraud detection and credit scoring to AI-powered personalization and regulatory compliance, financial institutions today are expected to operate at the speed of thought. So in this session, we will explore how SingleStore helps enable those use cases, with a unified high-performance data platform that deserves a serious look in today's competitive and evolving database landscape, especially for the fast-moving fintech ecosystem. Um, we are going to move from big ideas to real-world outcomes, including a live demo on real-time fraud detection. My colleague Prabhansu will be doing so. So stay with me. Now, let's quickly start with a quick look at the fintech landscape here in APAC. APAC is home to some of the world's fastest growing digital economies. We have seen the rise of real time payments with UPI in India, instant mobile wallets in Southeast Asia, and new age digital banks emerging across markets like Australia, Singapore, and the Philippines. Just a fun fact, so UPI in India processes over 18 billion plus transactions per month. That's huge. That's the scale. Now, with this growth comes new challenges. So customers expect instantaneous responses. For example, loan approval in seconds, transaction feedback in real time. There are regulators who are demanding real-time compliance with AML, KYT, and data governance frameworks. Businesses are looking to embed finance within every app and experience. All these points to one core need: a real time, intelligent data foundation that can keep up with the pace of innovation and user demand. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Why is this so hard? So, most modern fintechs evolve with what I call the stack sprawl or data sprawl approach. You might start with a transactional database, say Postgres or MySQL. And then you start adding other technologies as the data sources increase. For example, for Kafka, you have Kafka for streaming, you add Redis for caching, a data lake or a warehouse for analytics, Spark for processing, and then throw in more tools for ML serving. So what you see here is not uncommon. So customers often stack 7 to 10 different tools just to answer a single question in real time. It works. Of course, it works until it doesn't. So you end up with high operational overhead, data latency between systems. It takes, ETL job to move data from different systems. Difficulty maintaining consistency. There is no single version of truth. And of course, it skyrockets your infrastructure cost. So you actually spend more time in moving data than extracting value from it. Ultimately, you end up managing pipelines, not products. So now let's make this real with a few examples of what our customers are achieving using SingleStore, especially in the financial services domain. So Bank of America, one of the largest banks globally, they shifted 30% of their mainframe traffic to SingleStore, and that's not a minor workload. But by doing this, they were able to save 40 millions of dollars annually and accelerate the development of new customer-facing applications. This shows how SingleStore isn't just about performance, it is about modernizing legacy architectures at enterprise scale and with the performance that you want to achieve. Royal Bank of Canada, they are leveraging SingleStore to power AI-driven experiences like Nomi Insights and Nomi Find and Save. And these are automated, intelligent financial insights built on real-time customer behavior. Bitwire. At the opposite end of the spectrum, Bitwire runs a next-gen crypto exchange, and they need something ultra-fast and ultra-reliable. Redis couldn't meet their scale and performance need, so they switched to SingleStore, achieving 1 millisecond of latency and ability to handle 1 million orders per second. That's huge. This isn't just fast. This is mission-critical speed in one of the most latency-sensitive industries on the planet. Now, what do all these customers have in common, right? So they all need to solve the same core problem: ingest and process data as it arrives, as it is born, analyze it instantly, and act on it in real time. All of this while staying secure, scalable, and efficient. And that's where SingleStore comes in. We are not trying to be another tool to add to the mix. We are saying, what if one platform could do it all? SingleStore is a high performance distributed SQL database that supports both OLTP and OLAP workloads using one engine. It handles fast ingestion, real time transformations, instant analytics, serving results through APIs or dashboards. It is MySQL wire protocol compatible, meaning it can slot into your existing stack without massive code overrides or SQL query overrides. And it's built for cloud native scale, whether on AWS, GCP, Azure, or Kubernetes, or bare metal on-prem. You can run JSON and full text search queries, vector search or AI/ML workloads, complex joins across billions of rows, all with sub-second latency, along with support for data types such as key value pairs, time series, geospatial, JSON, everything in a single engine. So with that, let's move into who are we really. So we were founded as MemSQL in 2011. Maybe some of you know MemSQL back in those days. We renamed ourselves as SingleStore in almost 2020. Uh, so we started our journey as in-memory OLTP database. We switched to column store OLAP workloads in somewhere around 2015. And somewhere in 2017, we actually started bringing in vector search capabilities, full text search capabilities when ChatGPT was not around and when AIML was not a big thing like it is now. So we were always trying to stay ahead of the game by understanding the need and what is coming in the future. So these are some of our investors. So you can see, Goldman Sachs, Khosla Ventures, some of the very high profile investors here who trust in us, who trust in our technology and the data platform that we bring in with the vision that we have. So now let's zoom into the kinds of use cases we are powering, specifically in banking and fintech, because this is where SingleStore really shines. You will see here that our impact is not limited to one type of workload. So from real-time applications to deep analytics, SingleStore is used by financial institutions to solve high-value, high-pressure problems. We support use cases like portfolio analytics for wealth management, market and product analytics, understand customer behavior, risk analytics. So these aren't just dashboards. These are systems that need to handle millions of records, joins across multiple data types, and respond instantly without any lag. Our customers are running hyper-personalized campaigns using AI and real-time segmentation. They are able to recommend the right product, whether it is a credit card, loan, or insurance policy. At the moment, customer is most engaged. On the compliance side, things like the regulatory reporting, real-time reconciliations, and KYT AML dashboards are all areas where latency matters just as much as accuracy. And with SingleStore, you can run these workloads in near real time, not with yesterday's data. On the customer side, end user side, we support mobile banking apps, equity and trading platforms, even crypto exchanges, and algorithmic trading systems that demand ultra low latency and high concurrency. In fact, some of our customers support 150,000 concurrent users on single store based fintech applications, and we have consistently delivered sub 10 milliseconds, sorry, query times. And this is the level of performance and flexibility modern financial institutions are expecting and what we are already delivering. So what's interesting here is that we support both regulated banking and high frequency trading, two very different worlds, one common engine. Whether you are traditional banking, digital lending, wealth management, crypto, SingleStore gives you the data infrastructure to innovate, differentiate, and scale. So what makes SingleStore different in such a crowded database landscape? There are almost like 140 other databases that claim to do the same thing. So how are we different? So let's step back and look at what truly makes SingleStore different. So at its core, SingleStore is a high-performance unified engine designed from ground up for conversions, real-time transactions, advanced analytics, and now AI, all in one single system, as the name suggests, SingleStore. Unlike traditional databases that specialize in just one area, say OLTP for transactions or OLAP for analytics or vector stores for AI, single store brings them all together in a single engine. And that's not just convenience, it's essential for real-time financial services where speed, context, and intelligence must work together. So at the heart of this, our patented universal storage engine, uh, we store data in universal format using in-memory row storage and also columnar storage. I'll talk about more on this in the next slide. We have built-in vector and semantic search. We are developer friendly and compatible. The main reason being, as I said, MySQL wire protocol compatibility for structured workloads. But in addition to that, we do provide MongoDB APIs for JSON-based apps, so you can plug SingleStore into your existing MongoDB app without rewriting a code. On the platform side, we offer SingleStore as a fully managed cloud service, which we call SingleStore Helios. Uh, we also bring in Helios with bring your own VPC option, so BYOC. So you can deploy it in your own cloud tenancy if needed for compliance or sovereignty. We also provide native data integration services for ETL or ELT and built-in compute service. So you can run your ML work, ML flows, and AI apps directly on SingleStore Helios using CPUs and GPUs. So in short, SingleStore isn't a tool for everything. It's a unified engine built for conversions. It's designed to simplify complex architectures, eliminate lag, and make your fintech stack AI ready now. So let's now take a look under the hood to see how it works in action. So what you are looking at here is a simplified view of the engine that powers SingleStore. Think of it as the high-performance engine of a Ferrari. And like any great engine, we are continuously tuning it to make it even faster, smarter, and more efficient. So let's go from left to right. On the left, you see how data enters the system, and that is where we stand apart. Whether it is coming from streaming platform, transactional apps, or bulk loaders, SingleStore ingests it all seamlessly. But the key is we are built in, we are built for line by line ingestion, just like how data is actually created in the real world. Most warehouses wait to load last night's or last week's data. We ingest and query as it happens, as the data is born. And that's what enables true real-time analytics and decision making. In the center, we have our intelligent three-tier storage system designed to keep performance high and costs low. Now, many claim they do multi-tier storage, but what makes us different is how we move data across these tiers. For example, Snowflake often writes directly to the lowest tier um, before confirming your write. We do the opposite. We write to the fastest memory tier first, return instantly, and then asynchronously, we optimize the data into lower cost storage. And the result? It's lightning fast performance without blowing up your storage bills. And finally, on the right, our um, sorry. Finally, on the right, our scale out architecture. Traditionally, databases grow vertically, meaning bigger and more expensive machines. But single store grows horizontally. It is a distributed database. So you can add more nodes on demand. And that's powerful. For example, one of our customers, they scale their clusters up during the day for peak analytical workloads and down at night to save the cost. So that's the kind of flexibility that we provide. It is rare, and incredibly valuable. So when you put it all together, streaming ingest, intelligent storage, and elastic scale out, you get a system that can read, write, and reason, all that in real time on the same platform. So let me now quickly give you my point of view on how most GenAI powered systems are built today, especially in the context of fintech or enterprise use cases. Okay. Uh, so the user starts. This is a typical example of an AI agent. Let's call it the support AI bot. The user starts with a query to an app or AI assistant. Now, behind the scenes, a complicated orchestration kicks off. The agent, it first queries MongoDB or similar to get user context or JSON data. It gets that data, it combines that data with the query, sends it again, fires to VectorDB, Pinecone, fires the vector search to retrieve semantically similar documents from the knowledge base article, the knowledge base, whole knowledge base that you have. Then it combines that output with the original query, then calls Snowflake or a warehouse to pull structured data like transactions, limits, or previous cases that were raised, balances, compliance rules. And each response is partial. So the agent has to gather, rank, and consolidate all these data before it can be sent as a full context window to the LLM. And only then you get your final response. So this is basically a multi-hop, multi-system design that introduces high latency. You have to code to keep data in sync. You have complex failure handlings and higher cost due to separate services. And this is the setup that we see it often today, even at large enterprises. Now contrast that with SingleStore, a unified data platform designed for AI native apps from the ground up. Here, the user enters the query through the same client app, but instead of scattering the request across three different systems, it goes straight to SingleStore, which runs SQL-based structure queries, executes vector similarity search, and resolves JSON unstructured context, all from the same database. And then it sends a fully composed, high-quality context to the LLM in a single call. We call it the single shot retrieval. So there is no orchestration layer, there is no external vector DB, there is no context patchwork. So all in all, this dramatically reduces your latency. So responses can now be in sub-seconds. Your complexity, your stack, technical stack or data stack is smaller and more maintainable. It reduces your cost because there are fewer moving parts to license and scale, and it increases your reliability, right? So these are some of our case studies, and these from APAC, and these are just a few examples of how leading organizations across APAC are using SingleStore to build high performance real-time applications and analytical platforms. But I wanted to draw your attention specifically to the two cases on the left, DBS and Bitwire, because they represent two ends of the financial services spectrum and showcase what SingleStore does best. So starting with DBS, a leading multinational bank based in Singapore, they are managing 6 terabytes of uncompressed data in SingleStore and reduced their BI dashboard latency by 99.97%, nearly instant insights in Salesforce and Tableau. This is data that used to take hours, now available in seconds. What's key here is that DBS didn't just replace MySQL and MariaDB, they are augmenting Oracle. So not ripping and replacing. That flexibility lets them move fast, experiment, and scale incrementally. And we already talked about Bitwire. So they are a next-gen crypto exchange with very different needs. That they need 1 millisecond of latency, 1 million orders per second, And they are ultra low latency trading. And they replaced Redis because it couldn't scale with the level of performance plus availability they needed. So as you can see, this versatility across industries, there are, apart from finance, fintech and finance and banks, Kakao, Tata, Factors. So these are some of our, other customers, other wins across APAC. So whether it is real-time decision making, low latency trading, or AI-powered insights at scale, SingleStore is enabling businesses across APAC to think faster, act faster, and win. So, how do you know if SingleStore is right for you? Ask yourself these questions. Are we building real-time intelligent financial products? Are we struggling with data latency or operational complexity? Are we maintaining too many disconnected systems? Are we investing in AI and need fast access to fresh contextual data? Are we looking to reduce time to market and total cost of ownership? If yes, if answer to these questions or some of these questions is yes, SingleStore is definitely worth your time. So to sum it up, modern financial services demand speed, intelligence, and scale. Whether it is real-time fraud detection, instant credit scoring, or AI-powered recommendations or embedded finance, the expectation is instant decisions, not delayed by reports. And that's exactly what SingleStore is built for. So we know this sounds bold. Most customers say it feels too good to be true until they try it. And we say, don't believe us. Don't believe what I'm talking. Just try us. The proof is in the performance. And to show you exactly what this looks like in action, let me now hand it over to my colleague Prabhanshu, who will walk you through a live demo of how SingleStore powers a real-time fintech use case. Prabhanshu, over to you.
Thank you, Kedar. Thank you for the beautiful insights that you have just presented. Yeah, let me just share my screen, if I may. So after the after the brief discussion from Kedar, how SingleStore is a good fit when you are doing real-time analytics, you are doing enterprise AI, and the use case in the fintech industry. So let me just quickly walk you through a demo that we have built. And this is completely built and powered on SingleStore. We are not using any other database. In fact, the queries are directly linked to SingleStore itself. So before giving you the UI, showing you how it works, let me first talk about the architecture. So this is the architecture of this demo. The front end is built on Next.js, which is a very popular JavaScript framework, and it is hosted on Vercel. So Vercel allows you to host your JavaScript application, your Next.js application for free as well, and for the paid version as well. So the front end is hosted on Next.js, and the Next.js application is connected to SingleStore. So everything that is powered on front end is connected to SingleStore as database. And you can see that SingleStore Helios is the cloud service of SingleStore that we provide uh, as our SaaS service. So how the data is getting into SingleStore? We are running some Kafka scripts. So the idea is to uh, demo a real world scenario. Let's say uh, you are giving some services, financial services to your customer. You could be a bank, or you could be any other payment gateway app. You could be some application like PhonePe, BharatPe, or etc. So let's say a user is doing some transaction, and you have to check in real time whether that transaction is a fraud transaction or it is a legitimate transaction. So to simulate that, to simulate a real world scenario, we are running a Kafka script, which is running on AWS EC2 instance. And SingleStore has this concept of pipelines. So with pipelines, you can directly ingest the data from different sources like Kafka, like S3 object storage, SDFS, and many other pipeline connectors. So this Kafka script is simulating transactions which are happening in real time, and we are ingesting the data into SingleStore. Apart from this real-time transactions, you can also uh, load your historical data, which could be in form of CSV, which could be in form of Iceberg. So SingleStore also has native support for Iceberg ingestion. So suppose you have some historical data, so you can directly ingest the data into SingleStore. And this is about the three-tier architecture of SingleStore, which Kedar has already covered in his talk. And we are running a scheduled job to detect whether the transaction which are coming into the database are legitimate or are a fraud transaction. So in this demo, we are using the SingleStore schedule notebooks, but in real life, it could be a microservice or any service which could be running in a production distributed environment and flagging those transactions. And everything is happening on SingleStore, transaction, analytics, and search. You can do all these in SingleStore. And we have also this concept of the bottomless object storage. So this database is hosted on AWS, but you can host the same on GCP and Azure as well. So after the architecture, let me just show you the UI. So you will be able to see the last 200 flag transaction, which could be flowed around the globe. And you would be able to see the real-time transaction happening and logging in this dashboard. And let's say if a transaction is detected or flagged as fraud, so you would be able to see the numbers increasing here as well. So let's dive deeper into the frauds that have been flagged so far. So this is another tab. You can see that we have a number of all the number of frauds which have been all the transactions which have been flagged fraud. And if you dive deeper into that transaction, you would be able to see where those two transactions happen. So like in this case, this transaction has been flagged fraud because the first transaction happens around the border of Canada near Toronto, and the second is in somewhere in Mexico. And if you see the distance between these transactions is around 2000 kilometer, but the time gap is just 50 seconds. So it is almost impossible for someone to travel this far within this given amount of time, within 50 seconds, and with a speed of 200k kilometer per hour. So this is not possible in the current scenario with the technology we have. So this is a distance travel based fraud detection uh, algorithm, but it could be something else. It could be based on a customer profile. But the idea is this needs to be done in real time. This needs to happen in real time so that your users would be your users' data would be secure, that their money would be secure. So you can see all this flag transaction. You can go to different details as well and see why this is flagged fraud. What was the distance traveled by the users? We have another tab, the analytics tab. So as we were talking about with real-time capabilities, you can also do the real-time analytics on SingleStore. So this is the tab where we are showing the total number of frauds, the top city which has the most flagged transactions, and the peak hours. And this is the frauds over time. So you would be able to see the flagged fraud over the past couple of weeks. So you can see that around 8th of July, the number of frauds flagged were around 11,000, but something happened and the number of flagged fraud transaction declined. And in last couple of days, you would be able to see that the rate is again high. And these are the top cities which are being flagged the most. So the top is this San Nicolas, Argentina with 169 fraud transaction. And here's another Yushu, China with 153. So the idea is just to give you a demo how you can build a real-time application with SingleStore. And if you want to try this, we have this code available in our open source repository. So we will provide this thing after this webinar, and you would be able to try SingleStore out. You will be able to recreate this scenario on your own, and how you can do that. So go to singlestore.com website, and if you click on start free, you would be redirected to this portal.singlestore.com, and here you will see a sign up page, a login page. If you already have an account, you can directly use your Google, GitHub, or Microsoft. And if you click on, let's say, Google, you just type your email, type your password, and you would be able to create your account. Once you create an account, you would be able to see something like that. So you will be able to see your name, your free available credits, and dashboard like this. So this is your home page when you sign up to SingleStore. And let's talk about how you can deploy a cluster, how you can start with using SingleStore. So we have this, if you sign up, you will get this Tata workspace, which is free. And it has some limitation that you would only be able to create 10x table and 1 GB of compressed data and one database only. So this is always free. But let's say if you want to try something else, and if you want to use a dedicated workspace, how you can do that. So you will go to new deployment, and you will see a screen like this. So you can name your workspace group. Let's say I'll say a demo, fintech demo. And you can select your cloud provider. You can select your region. Let's say if you are in Asia Pacific, you can start your cluster on Singapore, Sydney, Jakarta. But I'll go just with Mumbai. And for the first, you can just go with the default settings and click next. And now you would be seeing another page where you can name your workspace. And I'll just name this again, fintech demo, fintech. Here you would be able to see the cluster size. So the smallest cluster size is S00, which has 2 vCPU, 16 GB of RAM, and this is the credit consumption per hour. You can change this. You can go with a larger cluster. You can also change it later. So I'll just go with the default, and I'll select S00, and there are a few more settings, but for this demo, we'll just go with the default setting and we'll create a workspace. So it will take some time to start the workspace, create the workspace, and once the workspace is created, you will be able to go to query data, and we have this data studio. So let's say if you want to run a Python file, a Python notebook. So we have this gallery library, and you would be able to see a lot of notebooks which are readily available to use. We have different use cases, like you can see that evaluating LLMs with uptrend, real-time anomaly detection, load files from S3. So these are the notebooks that you can use to get familiar with SingleStore. And let's say, so it will take some time to start the workspace. I have another workspace. So I have already created 3 workspaces, and I have these database running. So for this demo, this is the ATM underscore demo database. So let's get into that database and see the tables which are already created from SingleStore. So this is the user tables. And if you want to use this demo, if you want to create this table, so this is also available here on the schema.sql. So you can just copy this, and here in your portal, you can in query data, you can create a new SQL file and paste your code here, and you would be able to select your workspace, select your database. You can also create a new database by just using create database command. So create database, let's say APM demo version 2. So if you run this command, you would be able to see that query is running, and in a couple of seconds, you would be able to see that this ATM V2 is available here. And now you can create your tables, ingest your data into SingleStore. And just to show you how data is getting into SingleStore, so these are the two pipelines, the fraud demo transaction and the fraud demo users. These are both Kafka pipelines. So through this pipeline, we are ingesting the data from the users events, users topics. So let's say a user signs up, or a new user is created by the bank. So that user is pushed to the user's topic, and SingleStore can ingest that data in real time into the database. The same is also true for the transaction. And for the scheduled job parts, if you go to workflow, you would be able to see this job section. There are few more things coming up with a new version, the cloud function and the compute session. So if you will go to jobs, you would be able to see that we have these different uh, batch jobs running, and this is the real-time fraud detection job which is running to calculate the uh, fraud transaction on the data that is getting into the SingleStore. So this is a brief idea what you can do with SingleStore, how you can get started with SingleStore. And I hope this helps. And if you really want to use it, you can always go to this link, and you can also use different notebooks which are available here in the gallery. So feel free to reach out to us if you have any question, and feel free to ask questions. So we have a couple of minutes left, and I think I'll hand it over back to Kedar and Meg, and we are open for any questions if you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhanshu. Thank you, Kedar, for a beautiful presentation. Everyone, if you have any question, we're still open for another 5 minutes. So any question you want to have with our expert, you can put them on the Q&A tab. We will answer them right away. And again, thank you for joining this session. We'll be sharing the recording via email to your register email that you've used. Thank you again. Okay, so we don't have any questions. So thank you again for joining. We are closing the session now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.